We got connected to Safe Families through the Bible study that I was in. Our church's ministry lead was leading the Bible study at that time. She was a great advocate for the program, and she was hosting herself at the time. And we came to an info meeting at her house and heard some stories from other families that hosted and thought, oh, we could do this. And got to know other families that hosted and did a couple short hostings and thought, oh yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to support the body of Christ this way. We did a few short hostings before we hosted Vanessa's son while she got back on her feet. Vanessa had her son a couple of years ago and had lost her job, and so she was homeless and jobless. She just didn't really have anybody. She had an old social worker. She was in the foster care system. The social worker reached out to Safe Families and got her connected. When we started hosting Vanessa's son, she still needed to find housing. And then she found housing, and we continued to host because she was still looking for a job. Then even after she was employed and had housing, we continued to host a little bit longer because she still needed daycare for her son. But he got to go home on the weekends once she had housing and a job because she had space and time to have him with her on the weekends. Hosting with your own kids is always a mixed bag. They're humans just like me, and some days are good and some days are bad. It's been really encouraging to see them step up and share and be hospitable and be encouraging and be kind. And then sometimes there's some really good life lessons. And those are all lessons that I want my kids to learn. And this has been a really good vehicle for them to keep practicing that. It's been neat to see how that's grown them as people and as Christians, as followers of Christ. This was a hosting that impacted us a lot. It was our first long-term hosting, and I learned a lot about what I didn't know about poverty, about homelessness, about how to even get people resources if they don't have them. It impacted our kids for sure. They loved her son and continue to love him and ask about him and are excited anytime he's coming over or coming to play. It's been about 4 years since we hosted her son, maybe 3. Since that time, she's moved to a better apartment. Her son is enrolled in school. She's still in town and we're still in touch. And she still comes for holidays and for events. And she and I have started running some 5Ks together, which is really fun. When she came for holidays, it just felt like it was more of a community or a friendship relationship than I'm a volunteer and you're a placing parent. It was a lot more natural once we started doing more life together. Other families should get involved with Safe Families because it changes you in ways you didn't know you needed to be changed. The lessons that you learn are lessons about following Jesus and being his hands and feet, and you get the blessing that comes with getting to share the mercy and grace that you've received with other people. I think this is one of the ways to step up to the call that God has on our lives, to be hospitable, to be servant-hearted, to be selfless, to love one another in the way that God calls us to. So we get to be part of that process for a weekend sometimes, and sometimes we get to be part of that for 4 years. And that is a really cool experience to see the way that God is patient with us and then be able to pass that on to other people.